Madam President, it was 1 week ago today that George Floyd died in the streets of Minneapolis at the hands of Minneapolis police officers employing incredible, illegal, unconstitutional violence, ending in the loss of Mr. Floyd's life. And this afternoon we have a medical report from examiners hired by Mr. Floyd's family. The words are just shocking. George Floyd, the report concludes, was killed by asphyxia due to neck and back compression, and he died at the scene. I'm quoting now, "Sustained pressure on the right side of Mr. Floyd's artery impeded blood flow to the brain, and weight on his back impeded his ability to breathe." And then the report concludes, "The independent examiners found that the weight on the back, handcuffs, and positioning were contributory factors because they impaired Mr. Floyd's diaphragm to function. From all the evidence," still quoting from this independent report this afternoon, "from all the evidence, the doctors said it now appears Mr. Floyd died at the scene." Words cannot begin to describe the injustice that this report puts into plain text. The violation of police procedures, the abuse of the law, the appalling, illegal, homicidal misuse of government authority. And words cannot begin to describe the injustice that this has done to Mr. Floyd, to his family, to his community, and to millions of Americans who feel caught up, who feel judged by, endangered by, imperiled by these actions, and too many others like them over too many years, for too long in this country. And I just want to say, as the former Attorney General of my state, a role in which I had the great privilege to work day in and day out with law enforcement across the state of Missouri, law enforcement who go to work every day to prevent this kind of illegal violence, to prevent this kind of illicit use of power, that the actions by the police officer and officers here in this case cast an incredible aspersion on those valiant and courageous and law-abiding police officers, black and white and of every color, across our country, who go to do their job every day to protect and uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States and to protect men and women like George Floyd. The actions of these officers in this case are an incredible betrayal of those standards, of those officers, and of justice itself. And I understand why so many Americans have assembled peacefully to witness to this abuse of power and to protest it and to demand that justice be done. And they are right to do so. And they are right to demand that this pattern of violence exercised against African Americans be acknowledged, and it be confronted, and it be stopped. And this is urgent work for us as a nation and for this Congress as we go forward. I also believe, Madam President, that those who would turn this occasion into an opportunity for rioting and for looting and for more violence and for further attacks and for civil unrest do a great disservice to the memory of Mr. Floyd, to his family, and to this cause of justice that we Americans share together. For this is a cause that is ours together as a nation. This is a cause given to us by our common Constitution. This is a cause that should link us together, American with American. And we must resist the efforts of those, all of those who would set us against ourselves as we seek to pursue that more perfect union, as we seek to pursue justice in this case, and in other cases, and in the future to come. And so I add my voice to those who call for an end now to the rioting and to the looting, to those who would defame and dishonor and disfigure the memory of Mr. Floyd and his cause. And I hope that all lawful steps will be taken to protect innocent and law-abiding citizens in our cities and in our communities, so that the peaceful assembly and its righteous cause can go forward. And I just want to say one more thing, Madam President, on this subject. We cannot ignore that these peaceful protests are taking place amid a backdrop of 20% unemployment in this nation, perhaps higher in the urban centers of our nation. And I think of a line by a former senator who once said that to be unemployed is to have nothing to do, and that means having nothing to do with the rest of us. And I hope that as we as a nation and we as a body in the United States Senate turn our attention to what we can do to seek that more perfect union, what we can do to better secure the promise of our Constitution, what we can better do to secure that dream that we hold together as Americans, I hope that one thing that we will discuss is the vitality, the necessity of work. Work that is meaningful and that is rewarding and that is available for all Americans, from our urban core to our small towns. And I hope that we will have a discussion about the policies that for too long in this country, for too many decades, have sent too much work out of our country, away from our cities, away from our small towns, for that matter. I hope we can discuss what we will do to bring work back so that those who grow up in our cities, young men who grow up in our cities, will have a sense of a future, will have a sense of possibility, will think that there's something for me here. I could build a family here. I could start something here, and yes, I could have a say and a share in our society here. For that, they have to have work, Madam President. They have to have meaningful work. And this is a task to which we must set ourselves. It is urgent now in this present pandemic crisis that has seen these unemployment numbers rocket to historic, unimaginable levels. It is vital we address the crisis of work, but it is also vital for our future. It is vital for our urban core. It is vital for the young men and women who struggle there. It is vital for our rural towns and our small areas like the one that I am from. It is vital for every part of this country, for every member of this nation. And it is work I hope that we will take up urgently together to provide good-paying, meaningful jobs that can support the social fabric that is the foundation of our democracy. There's much to do in the months and the years ahead. I just hope that the loss of Mr. Floyd will serve as a fresh beginning, an opportunity for a new start for Americans from every corner of this country, from every political background, from every race and ethnicity, to stand together and to say, we commit ourselves anew to this Constitution that we love, to this nation that we call home, and we are determined now more than ever to seek and to build a more perfect union. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.